let's clear up education. Alabama trashes over $16,000 in school training manuals for being woke. Barbara Cooper, head of Alabama's Department of Early Childhood Education, had to forcefully resign when it was found that the department was distributing teacher training materials that included so-called woke content. Now, the officials of Alabama Department of Education have thrown away $16,500 worth of woke teacher training materials, which were approved by the National Association for the Education of Young Children's Developmentally Appropriate Practice book. The book contains a section suggesting LGBTQIA plus people need to hear and see messages showing equality, dignity, and worth. This section also discussed systemic forces that perpetuate systems of white privilege. The books were intended solely to help preschool and elementary school teachers improve their classroom skills and were never meant to be read by young children nor have their contents taught to them. A photograph shows nearly over 100 newly purchased booklets scattered across the floor of a Montgomery waste recycling plant about 5 miles from the offices of the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. The materials cost $165 each. I still can't believe they have actually a recycling plant in Montgomery, Alabama. The rest of it doesn't surprise me.
I can't believe they can read in Alabama.
Actually, something about their education system that is very interesting. They have done some really progressive stuff as far as teaching their kids how to invest in Birmingham and parts of Alabama. So they are a very progressive education system, but this just seems very backwards because they are very practical in Birmingham, at least. Maybe Montgomery County needs to take a listen.
Yeah, well, it's reverting to the mean. Everything reverts to the mean.
That's just a waste of money.
Yeah, but it's also a waste of opportunity.
Yes.
There is, first off, they're banning books from teachers. They're not even letting the teachers read the books that might influence how they teach kids. And what I would like to know, and the article doesn't say this, and I looked online, I can't find out, who was on the board making the decision to get rid of these materials, to just incinerate them, to make them not exist. And I'm betting there wasn't a lot of open LGBTQ plus on there. I'm betting there weren't a lot of black people making the decision. I bet there weren't a lot of Hispanic people making the decision, or our two-spirited Indian, Native American friends. They weren't making the decision. It was people who looked like me and Greg, most likely. But without any accountability, they're just a faceless group that's saying, absolutely not. Yeah. So it's not just the racism of that just comes in naturally, but the racism that is perpetuated by these decisions.
Well, and the moms for lobotomies are infiltrating everything. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure they're all over Alabama.
Yeah.
Homegrown here, but I'm sure they're all over the country now.
And you work a lot with the trans community, obviously, with in the LGBTQ plus community. How do we stop this kind of ignorance? You're an activist. You're on the ground. I've told you twice this week that an activist's work is never done. How do we fix this? Where do we even begin to take the first step?
Well, the first step is what they were doing before, educating people.
Yeah.
And if you can't educate people, then what do? That's what makes no sense to me,
Well, they shall continue to marinate in ignorance. Mm-hmm.